What's up, guys? Welcome to another chill and relaxing video where I talk about some movies. So I recently got tagged by Cinephile Nick in this challenge where you do your favorite film from 2008 to 2018. We're gonna take that challenge and kind of do something different with it. That is, do my favorite film from each year, but I will be giving some honorable mentions because some of them come so close and some of them are just really underrated and underappreciated. Before we start this video, I'm going to tag 3 other people to do this exact same challenge, so stick to the end to see who gets tagged. In 2008, we had The Dark Knight is one of the best films ever. I can't quite say that, but that's what a lot of people have been saying, so I'm just gonna hop on that bandwagon and just say it's one of the best films of all time. The things that I could say about The Dark Knight are things that everyone has said about them. Heath Ledger is great, Christian Bale is great, it's so complex, it has a great story, it has great action, it has all these, everything about it is really great. But what I can say that probably no one has said is that I watched it for the first time last year, and that is something I don't want to admit, because that shows how not a fan of films I am or was, but now I've seen it, so that now I can call myself a true fan of films. So let's just leave that in the past, and I definitely should and need to rewatch this film again. 2009 is a great year for animated movies in the past. We got some great movies like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which is a film that no one talks about. It's a film that I loved as a child, but recently watched it in the last couple months and actually really liked it a lot. It's not perfect, but it is a great, fun movie. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller, what they do with the story is great. As a Wes Anderson fan, Fantastic Mr. Fox could be number 1. Just love that film. But my number 1 is actually going to be Up. And Up is just a fantastic movie. I actually did an analysis video on that, so you can check that out right now. But I'll give my brief thoughts on it. I just find it's a great movie. The story, just the music by my boy Michael Giacchino in here is great. A lot of people say like, oh, it's an amazing movie for the first 10 minutes, and then the next is just not good. But what I find is that it really sets up the story. The things that were in the first 10 minutes are brought up in that, and so it connects. It's not just like, here's the first 10 minutes, and this hour and 20-minute long film has nothing to do with that. It connects with it, and I feel like some people kind of look over that part. 2010, we had some great films like Toy Story 3, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and probably what film buffs their favorite movie of all time, or of 2010 at least, would be Inception. And that is an amazing film. But my number 1 is going to be... Sure, the movie doesn't really show how the Zuckman actually was and how the Zuckman actually lived his life, and it kind of shows the Zuckman as this little mean jerk man. The screenplay by Aaron Sorkin, it's cliche by now to say that it was fantastic, but it's a lie to say that he did not do an amazing job. And the acting in here is great. What these actors do, how they handle the screenplay is great. This film is just fast-paced, and you think it would be just kind of boring, but you really get invested into the story. And this film isn't really about the growth and the rise of Facebook, but it's more about the growth of the Zuckman, Mark Zuckerberg, and how he grows as a character throughout the film.
You guys were the inventors of Facebook? You invented Facebook.
Is there anything that you need to tell me?
Your actions could have permanently destroyed everything I've been working on. We have been working on. Did you like being a joke? Do you want to go back to that? Mark!
2011 had some pretty great films. We got Rise of the Planet of the Apes. We got The Adventures of Tintin, which I highly recommend. It is an underrated Spielberg film that I think more people should see. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It's a really fun action film, one of my favorite action films. And my number 1 isn't a perfect film, but is one that I recently watched, and that is... Now, The Tree of Life I heard of the movie, and Cinephile Nick, he's talking about this in his videos, and I'm like, I need to see this, because he's saying great stuff about it. And is it a great film? Yes, it is. The experience I had with The Tree of Life is similar to the experience I had with 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that kind of shows what kind of movie it is and how mainstream audiences, let's just say, probably won't like this film. There's lots of long, lingering shots. It's basically just montages after montages, and it's just strung together. But the filmmaking is just amazing, and Terrence Malick shows really what the power of filmmaking can do to people. It can really take hold of your emotions for 2 hours, and that's exactly what Terrence Malick does. The Tree of Life is one of those films that you're just gonna keep thinking about, and this film, what makes it really great is how open to interpretation it is. And what I mean by that is there's lots of scenes that don't make sense, but the scenes you can interpret, oh, maybe this is what he was trying to say, or maybe this is how I feel about it, and this is what I think because of my experiences with whatever. And that's really the great thing about The Tree of Life. 2012 had a pretty good run of films. We got The Dark Knight Rises, we got 21 Jump Street, one of the best comedies of the 2010s, I would say. Moonrise Kingdom, one of my favorite Wes Anderson films, and we got Skyfall, which is actually my favorite James Bond film, and it's very close to being my number one. But this is a film that's not technically 2012 film. The Place Beyond the Pines is a extremely underrated film that I highly recommend more people watch. You think after you're done the first act, you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be a different film, but the second and third act really connects the first act all together, and at the end, it's just amazing experience. The acting here by Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper, everyone in here is at least really good. Cinematography in here is actually really good. Ben Mendelsohn, forgot to talk about him, but he is really great in here. The score in here, just, even listening to it after watching the film, I still like envision the film, and that's how powerful the score is. And it just, it just gets you, you know? You don't know, because you haven't seen the film. Get that off. There we go. How all these three acts really connect to each other is really great. I highly recommend you watch it. The quick synopsis that I can say about this film that's spoiler free is that Ryan Gosling plays this motorbike extreme guy who's doing all these tricks for people to get money. He's not getting that much money. He's trying to support his family, his wife, and his little child. He robs banks with Ben Mendelsohn, and the things that Ryan Gosling does really affects the characters in the second and third act mainly, and that's all I want to say. 2013, we had some good films like The Kings of Summer, Gravity was a really good film, and Monsters University, which is an underrated Pixar film. So my number one film of 2013 is gonna be directed by the amazing filmmaker himself, Denis Villeneuve, who directed some great films like Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival, and I need to see Sicario. What he does with this film, he creates this intense film, and all it's about is Hugh Jackman, his daughter gets kidnapped, and then him and Detective Loki, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, they're trying to figure out who this guy is. Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, they're fantastic acting in here as well, but these characters, they're kind of trying to find out what's the best way to handle this, and we have two different perspectives on how to handle this. Detective Loki's kind of this cool, calm guy who's just trying to do the realistic approach, the most reasonable approach to do this, but Hugh Jackman, since it's his daughter, and he is so desperate to find his daughter, he's doing whatever it takes, and so throughout the film, he's getting all crazy and insane, and it's just really, it's a brutal film. I wouldn't say extremely, but it is pretty disturbing. 2014, we had some great blockbusters in here like Interstellar, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Lego Movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Grand Budapest Hotel, but not my number one. But we're gonna cheat here a little bit, but we're gonna say top two films of 2014 is gonna be films that I've covered on the channel already, and you might know what they are, and that is Whiplash and Nightcrawler, another Jake Gyllenhaal film. And both these films, I won't say much because there's already reviews up for them. They're well acted, they're well made, cinematography in both of them is great, the themes and the story is great, everything about these films is amazing. My honorable mention in the year 2015 is going to be The Revenant, which is an amazing film. Leonardo DiCaprio is great in this film. Tom Hardy and Will Poulter, they're great in here as well. Domhnall Gleeson, I think, whatever his name is, he's pretty good in here as well. The directing is by, what's his face? The guy, he has a really long name. I'm gonna put it here. He also did Birdman, and that's a great film that I forgot to talk about in 2014. This film is really about redemption and kind of revenge, and it's a really good story. But my number one, we forgot to talk about that, is a film that I did analysis on. I highly recommend you check out that video, and I highly recommend you check out this film, which is Mad Max Fury Road. And Mad Max Fury Road, on the surface, just seems like a normal action film, but overall it has these themes and story elements, and all the action scenes are fantastically shot and well directed and well made. But the reason why I love it so much is kind of to do with the story. 2016, you know, we got some great films like Arrival, Hell or High Water, and La La Land. Whew. I might be getting some hate for that, but my number one favorite film of 2016 is going to be directed by Taika Waititi, who also directed Thor Ragnarok, and his unique and quirky comedy in here really makes this film what it is, and the adventure that these two characters go on. Ricky Baker is this kid, and he's this troublemaker. He has to live with his new foster parents, played by Sam Neill and someone else. Sam Neill and Ricky Baker, they're on the hunt from the people trying to take him from his house, and it's just this really enjoyable, funny film, fun film, but it also has some heart to it.
Faulkner is Caucasian. Well, they got that wrong because you're obviously white.
2017, if you've seen my top 10 list, then you know that it's a lie, because my favorite film is not War for the Planet of the Apes. My favorite is Blade. It's just an amazing film, and how everything connects, and the story. Ryan Gosling, Robin Wright, Jared Leto is even pretty good in here as well. Harrison Ford, all the acting in here is great. Cinematography is amazing. One of my favorite sci-fi films of all time, I would say. 2018, top 3, A Quiet Place and Mission Impossible. My number 1 is going to be Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs, it's not a perfect film. I can totally see the flaws it has. It's just a great film. Everything about it, Wes Anderson really makes this film what it is. So those are my favorite films from 2008 to 2018. Thanks for Cinephile Nick once again for tagging me to do this. So the 3 people I'm going to tag are going to be That Kid at the Movies, the filmmaker, and Behind the Curtains Productions. This isn't the type of video I'm going to be normally doing. This is just an unscripted video that I want to get out because it just seemed like a cool, interesting idea. There's going to be more energetic and fun and lots of skit type videos, and this is not one of them. And so thank you for sticking along to this video. Be sure to keep on liking, commenting. If you haven't already, start subscribing so you can see more videos, and you can... I forget.